What up everyone, it's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends discussion video, and today's video topic of discussion is: are Marvel Legends Haslab repaints now possible as made to order? But before we get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up, like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's talk about it. Oh, you gotta let me cook here with this banger video incoming, and so yeah. Marvel Legends Haslab repaints or reissues are now possible as made to order. That's what we will discuss in today's video. What made this come to thought was because recently at New York Comic Con, Hasbro revealed the once Haslab G.I. Joe Classified Series His Tank, which will now be repainted into the white Arctic colors and is going to be made to order. So it just made me think, holy sugar, they are actually doing it. Now, I'm not going to go over all the details on this new His Tank, but I just want to give the short gist of it so it can make sense for everyone watching, making it easy to follow along in case there's someone in here that doesn't follow G.I. Joe Classified and is not in the know. So that way you know where I'm going with this. But all I know and what I heard from rumblings around the internet is that for this His Tank, it's going to be the Haslab mold, but stripped down, as it will have way less accessories than the first, nor will it have any of the electronic features. So same sculpt, less accessories, no lights. I figured maybe one day they would do this to make it feasible and get something out of that sculpt where they can make blue and red His tanks. Maybe offer the black again, but stripped down as such. I'm guessing with all the bells and whistles removed, being that the original cost $300 to fund, I'm thinking with 4 figures removed, all tiers and electronics removed, we might be looking at half the price, so maybe $150 here, ideally. That's what I think it should be. $125 at the very least, which makes it affordable for army building, as the high price on the original black one made it very difficult to grow your ranks in the collection. It makes this new MTO method very consumer friendly. It's giving a second chance offer to those who missed out on the original. So now, what would that look like for past Haslab Marvel Legends in today's world if it were possible? Thanks to my guy A Heffalump on Instagram, I partnered up with him so he can deliver us some mock-up renders that he worked on for what that could look like. Quick disclaimer. Now, I know everyone has their opinions on mock renders and such, but this is not meant with negative intent in any way or purpose to be clickbait or spread as official news or promo renders. It is not. I don't like fake news, so I'm telling you this up front. The intent is to help paint the picture for my audience, to help you visualize how that would look like and to explore the interest level from what we can speculate on such a topic. So please, I kindly ask anyone here watching to not spread these images around as official news, because I hate fake news. And again, it is not official news. So please, if you're going to share anything I said on this video along with the images, just be sure to let everyone know it is not official, and just to give credit to both me and A Heffalump. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go over the possibilities of what could be. I'm going to go in release order for the Haslabs that funded one by one, and let's just have fun rolling with it. Back in 2020, the first ever Marvel Legends Haslab was revealed, being the Sentinel. It was mind-blowing at the time, as we never got a Sentinel that large before at around the 27-inch mark. But it was a more modern House of X version over a classic, and some people didn't like the $300 price tag, but it was freaking loaded. To this day, the best tiers and accessories included out of any Marvel Legends Haslab. The good thing about it being the more modern version is there was another batch of Sentinels sporting Iron Man colors, and I think you know where I'm going with this. During the Krakoa era, there was the Axis storyline where the organization named Orchis took control of Tony Stark's businesses and devoted Iron Man's technology towards the next generation of Sentinels that are fully devoted to crushing the X-Men. And they were as hard to beat as old Shellhead himself. It was insane, because imagine fighting multiple giant Iron Mans at once. Just pure insanity. So now that I have the Haslab Sentinel image here, let's see what that would look like as a Stark Sentinel. Here it is, and boom! Man, oh man, when I saw this right away, I said, holy shit. I know it's just a mock-up render, but I want it right away. Seeing this in the hot rod red and gold colors mixed in with some metal grays just looks so good. I really teased myself with these renders because now I want them as figures. I'm just a sucker for these damn bots. I freaking love Sentinels, man. Now let's talk if they strip this thing down like the His tank with no electronics, no tiers, no figures, accessories, whatever. Then the most I think it could probably cost is between 175 to 200. Don't think it would be lower than 175, as that's the same price as the X-Men 97 Sentinel, and this is a much larger figure. I would hope $150, as that would be half of the original Haslab, but let's be real here. They won't drop it that low. After seeing this mock-up render, you know what? I want to see it done. Maybe you don't, and that's cool. And maybe some before that didn't want it may change their mind when seeing this mock-up render. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video, because I want you to visualize it as it helps the perception more. But can you imagine putting something like this in your Hall of Armor display? I know if there was no lights, I understand, but man, the lights would make it look better, but I can live without it. I know you can army build something like these Stark Sentinels, but I'm good with not army building and just having one, so I would definitely put it in my Hall of Armor display, as it would look like a giant Iron Man. If they reuse this mold, they need to fix the joints this time and add the ratchets, as that was the problem with the first release. So they could still re-release it in the original colors with a slightly different deco, but just add the ratchets to the joints. I think people will jump on that too. Now, if Hasbro is looking to maximize this mold for reuse, another route they can take is by selling a standalone master mold. Just sprinkle some gold on it and it's good to go. Why not, right? I use my Haslab Sentinel as my standalone master mold on display, which I will have the X-Men 97 Sentinel surrounding it. It works since he's supposed to be super gigantic. I wouldn't mind that. But this got me thinking. It got me thinking, and I know this wasn't supposed to be a part of the video as it's a little off topic, but since I was just talking about the X-Men 97 Sentinels and Master Mold, what if Hasbro took the X-Men 97 Sentinel mold and upscaled it to make an X-Men 97 Master Mold? That would be freaking epic after looking at this mock-up. It would be such a sleek and clean design, maybe upscaling it to the same size as the Haslab one, or make it bigger. I don't want to reverse this video and make it as a made-to-order into Haslabs. Just wanted to paint the picture for you on what that would look like. If they do this, then X-Men 97 is going down as the best Marvel Legends series in their sublines. Crazy thing is, I can see it happening. And yes, you can call me crazy. I'm okay with that. Getting back on track here, overall, I think the odds of a Haslab Sentinel being re-released as a made-to-order, whether it's Stark Sentinels or Master Mold, I give it a 70-30 chance of it happening. After the Sentinel dropped, I think we can all agree that the most anticipated Haslab for the Marvel Legends line was Galactus. And so in 2021, the Galactus Haslab campaign went up for funding. I know this would be the most important re-release of all Haslabs. Collectors are foaming at the mouth for a second chance on it if they missed out, whether it was because they couldn't afford it at the time, because, you know, life happens and unexpected expenses come up, because, I mean, it wasn't dirt cheap as it was $400, or if they just got into collecting after that time period. This would be the one Haslab they should re-release first. Now, we know Hasbro wants to keep their Haslabs unique for collector purposes, and I get that, so I don't expect the same color scheme of his traditional blues and purples, but there's a really cool color scheme that would absolutely look amazing. If you can recall, back in 2010, I believe, from the 3 3/4 Marvel Universe line, they made a 19-inch Galactus figure as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Well, later they made a dark variant with this beautiful dark plum and midnight blue colors. So what if they switch up those colors again this time around? Because here's how it would somewhat look like. And damn, this goes so hard. Honestly, I would be so down for a dark variant Galactus. Something about Dark Galactus just pops to me in this color scheme. I remember taking a photo of that Marvel Universe Dark Galactus variant, as that was the one I had in my collection for the longest time prior to the Haslab, so he just blends in with the cosmos environment, and the deco really makes him feel like a higher cosmic entity, as he should be. Now, if they do this, price is really going to be tricky, and I'm curious to see what that would look like. Strip the figures, the lights, and accessories away from the $400 Haslab, we could still be looking at a $250 to $275 figure. He's still large, and it's not going to cost free for them to repaint it either, just because they have the mold already. But the good thing about made to order is that you don't have to worry about crowdfunding. No matter the price you pay, it's yours. No need to rely on anyone else's money to get what you want. I know they can just release Galactus by himself, but if they wanted to include an additional Herald, an Airwalker, or a newly tooled Silver Surfer in a Chrome Vac metal deco would make me purchase it in a heartbeat. I don't see that happening if they are trying to keep costs low, but if you were to ask me the odds of a Haslab Galactus being re-released as a made-to-order, then I'm going to answer with a 100% yes. I do think it will happen. In 2023, it was Avengers 60th anniversary centric focused, and the Haslab Giant Man was at the forefront of that. This is the one they can get the most out of just because all of Hank Pym's personas in costume gallery. A month ago, I made a video on my Marvel Legends made to order wish list, and Goliath in the iconic blue and yellow costume was in my top 5. I mentioned in that video that they should do one that's at the 12 to 13 inch-ish mark or so, because I thought they wouldn't reuse the Haslab, but after that His Tank reuse reveal, I said, well damn, never mind then. Now that changed my mind. Not saying they still can't do one around that 13 inch-ish size, but the reuse of the Haslab is more than likely. And it's fairly easy for them to reuse that again, as it's practically the same gear. Just gotta change the belt and mask to add the visors, and boom, there you have it. And I would be all over this. Now, the only change I feel they'll need to do is give him completely new hands. Those articulated fingers were not it, and it made it look mechanical and robotic on a humanoid giant with spandex leather-like gloves. Get rid of the articulated fingers, as the Gummy QC was absolutely horrid on that, and just stick to swappable hands. You won't need swappable eyes because of the visor, so swappable mouth plates will suffice. Man, I love the blue and yellow Goliath suit, probably my favorite Hank Pym costume. Now, if you know your Pym costume gallery like I do, then you know another one they can get out of this is his alternate Goliath costume in the blue, red, and yellow. Something that the 3 3/4 Marvel Universe line also did back in the late 2000s as a Walmart exclusive. I'm a sucker for that color combo too, and because I'm biased towards anything Pym family, I'd want to see this done as well. The only tweak this would need compared to the blue and yellow costume is adding the yellow antennas in the front part of the mask. And there's still one more they can get out of this, and that's a giant form yellow jacket. That way, if we ever get a 6-inch version, then we can have both forms, small and tall, like how we have with our Giant Man if you want some sort of growing effect on the shelves. This would have a little more tweaking because of the costume design not being exactly the same, but it's a possibility. If they want to further expand on that, maybe give us a scroll head accessory. Maybe even one for the Haslab Giant Man to make up for that tier loss so we can put on our Haslab Giant Man figures. Don't see that happening, but if they did want to focus on more variety for the scrolls, it would be a good way to throw that in there. Now, do I see all these happening, considering the amount of real estate this would take up on the shelves? Not sure if Hasbro will be considerate to collector space or not, especially when you think about what something like this would cost. Stripping a Haslab Giant Man off the swappable face accessories and articulated fingers, I would assume that would take the $200 Haslab somewhere down to $125 to $150, in between that price range. Maybe, I don't know, that's just me projecting where the price range could be, not a definite. I think a stripped down Giant Man into one of these personas would be great if they can get it down to a 120, which is the same price as the made to order Apocalypse. I don't think it would be 120 because of the 24-inch size to take into account, but if they can somehow get it down to that price, I think that would really work for most collectors. Like I said, I'm not sure if all these costumes will happen, so my projected odds on this would be, let me start with the blue and yellow Goliath, as that's the easiest. I'm going with a 90-10 for me. That's a strong, favorable outcome for a favorable costume. I do see this happening. For the red, blue, and yellow alternate costume version of Goliath, I would say if we get the blue and yellow version first, then this would look like a 70-30 chance to me. A 60-40 at the very least. For a giant form yellow jacket, see, mostly everything is 50-50 with this line, and I want to say 50-50, but with us not even getting a 6-inch yellow jacket after 2 years, going on 3, after the Haslab Giant Man been released, then I'm going to have to say 0 chance, unfortunately. Until I see a 6-inch version, then maybe I'll change my odds, but even then, chances are extremely low. And now, saving the best for last, well, probably worst for last in this case because it didn't get funded and failed horribly, is the Haslab Engine of Vengeance Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes and the Hellcharger back in 2022. There are several factors why it failed. The early bird special wasn't convincing, then it didn't hit, so we lost out on an extra figure variant. The buck itself wasn't a new sculpt and mostly reused from Longshot when a Haslab main figure should always be a new sculpt. Robbie Reyes isn't a household name like Blaze or Ketch for the mantle of Ghost Rider. Another problem was the car had a top, middle, and bottom. Lols. But mainly, it was because it was grossly overpriced. Let's face it, the $350 price tag was pushing everyone away, and simply was just not worth the value of what you were getting. Now, if they stripped down the his tank to no accessories, electronics, figures, and all that, and do that to the Engine of Vengeance, then we could be looking at a price that could have helped it fund the first time around. No figure tiers here. Damien Hellstrom got his figure already in the Strange Tales wave. Mephisto got his made to order out of the way. There's one more in that package that I feel will get a made to order and no cartoon version or modern version this time. Yes, that's right, I'm predicting a classic Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen will be a made to order item later down the line, as well with her own throne and her goblin creatures for army building. The goblin creatures, they could get creative with this. It could be really cool. Get the green winged goblin from her first comic cover. They can easily use one of the stockier small molds they have. Maybe one of the goblin dogs, which I can see them doing 2 of them in different colors for variety and get the most out of that mold. A great inclusion to level this all the way up would be giving us the Sorcerer Demon himself, Neos Tyr. I think that would be a little too much to make it as a 2-pack, especially if you got a throne in there. So I think the 2 goblin dogs are more likely, but Neos Tyr can maybe be in a wave or in a 2-pack with another one of Madeline Pryor's demons, but probably best in a 2-pack with Darkchild. Mephisto got a throne, so they better damn guarantee us a throne for the Goblin Queen so she can look more sinister on the shelf. I just hope they don't give us the modern version like in the Haslab and give us her classic look, because that's the right one that will fit in our classic 80s X-Men comic display. They can always release a modern version later that's not a made to order. I could see her being a part of some sort of mystic wave. Yeah, I'm calling it. Sometime within the next year or 2, we will get a classic comic Madeline Pryor Goblin Queen. But going back to Ghost Rider, and no mock-up images needed here because it's pretty much going to be straightforward with this release. So, with no figures, this is how I see them doing it. Remember, there were 2 versions you can display. The street mode without all the effects, and then the Hellcharger with all the effects. So I think they might do something where both car modes are sold as separate bundles to keep the MSRP low for one, One street mode with the Robbie Reyes civilian outfit, and the other as Hellcharger mode with Ghost Rider, and they'll let fans decide whether they want to order one or maybe a deluxe bundle for both at a discounted price as opposed to buying them separately. Again, and not saying they'll do this at all, just saying I can see them doing something like this because they can probably maximize more profit out of it doing it this way. I'm just trying to think how they would think. Personally, for me, it would just be better if everything is included as one set with the swappable tires and other pieces. If they can bring the price down to like that of Apocalypse for 120, I think 120 is a sweet price for made to order, like 120 to 150, but it also depends. But 120 I think is the price point they should go for, then they would more than make up for it. I know it'll still seem a little expensive for a car, but being loaded with all those accessories and then thinking how loaded that Apocalypse is with his accessories, in today's pricing, being realistic, I just think we're looking at a $120 to $150 item. Who knows? I can't predict pricing. All I can do is speculate on a realistic point of view and have fun with you guys while doing so. To end it here with the odds, the classic Goblin Queen as a made to order, I'd say a good 80-20. Feeling pretty confident about that one. As for the return of the Ghost Rider Engine of Vengeance, yes, 100%. It's going to happen in some way, shape, or form with a top, middle, and bottom. It's going to happen, and I say that with the utmost confidence. And look, I was someone who thought there is no chance in hell, pun intended, that they would ever try to release this again. I believe they wouldn't. If you asked me a year ago or 2 years ago, I would have said no way. But now, I changed my stance on that opinion. And I know I rebelled against that campaign hard because I didn't agree how they went about it. And the thing is, guys, I really wanted that car and the figure and all that jazz because it looked so damn good and toyetic, but not with some of the sleazy tactics they tried pulling, and definitely not for that ludicrously expensive price tag. So much of their bullshit was unethical towards the consumers. I just couldn't support it and pulled out as I had to take a stance for the community. But now is their chance to right those wrongs, and I got to give them their chance to rectify any wrongdoings. Hasbro, right now is your chance to right the wrongs and win back some of the consumer trust if you care about customer loyalty at all. The made-to-order option, I want to believe, is intended in good faith. You know what to do, so don't fumble it. Hasbro, I know I gave you a lot of hell for it. I am trying to be better. Please, do not make me let you down. Now I can get back to you after watching this video. Which of these mock-up renders got you excited for a possible re-release? What Haslab do you think will be turned into made to order next? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends video. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next video. Peace, peace.